there's this shift in how we view ourselves, our bodies, what we're putting in our bodies, what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the third space really emerged. Hi, I'm Shilpi Sullivan, the Chief Marketing Officer of EOS Fitness, and we're on Behind the Brand with Brian Elliott.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the show. Welcome. Well, I should say thank you for having us to your new facility in San Clemente.
Thank you for being here, Brian. Such a pleasure.
Yeah. I mean, what an incredible place. I mean, they all sort of have this continuity where all the, what are we calling them? Gyms, fitness?
Gyms.
We're calling them gyms. Okay. All the gyms have this continuity where you walk in, you sort of know that you're in the right place. There's the sort of bright, optimistic blue color palette. There's a lot of energy. Everything always feels new and fresh and clean, unlike some of the other gyms I've been in. But this is the newest one down a little south of me in San Clemente. It's awesome, right by the beach.
Yes. We are so intentional on making sure that the gyms do have that same energy, the look, the feel, the brand behind it.
Yeah.
So when you're inside of an EOS, it feels like home.
Yeah. We're going to unpack all that. I'm excited to talk about it. So relax, take a breath. This is going to be easy peasy. You're running the show. You're the CMO. You're in charge of all this. It's remarkable. I usually ask my guests, so how did you get this job?
Oh, that's a fun story. So I actually started at an ad agency about 20 years ago as an account coordinator, found the job on Craigslist, and I started on the mortgage side. About 6 months later, I got promoted to an account director, manager, and was on the fitness side. And one of my very first clients, he was the VP of sales and marketing for a gym chain. And as kind of through the course of a decade, we started working closer together, and I was his go-to marketing person. We always kind of knew that one day I would work for him. And then he got an opportunity to come over and be CEO of EOS when EOS was first founded. And that was when I came on over.
Yeah. Was that gym chain Gold's by chance?
It was.
Yeah.
It was, a Gold Gym franchise.
I mean, historic sort of, legacy presence, especially in the LA area.
Yes.
It's not uncommon to see like Schwarzenegger show up and,
Old Venice.
put up some weights in Venice Beach right there. Yeah.
Yep.
I think he still comes by once in a while.
I think so too. I feel like I randomly see it on social media or even, if there's like an article pickup somewhere.
Yeah. That's cool. Okay. And so you were in the right place at the right time. You had the connections. You were qualified. What was job one? How did you get started? Did they throw you in the deep end? Like just say, go for it?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I was the single marketing person. We were scrappy. It was 16 gyms and it was ours to just kind of own and build. So I started, the very first thing, walking the gyms.
Yeah.
And it was interesting. It was a logo. It was a logo over a Gold Gym logo, an EOS logo. And that was it. That was what we were walking into. So it was this amazing, unique opportunity to build a brand and to basically build a company that we all wanted to be a part of.
Mm-hmm. So you'd been doing the agency work for some time, but did you feel qualified to jump over to the client side? Because that agency side, client side relationship, it's a little different. For a lot of people who don't know how it works, the agency does all the work. The client side is cushy. You're asking the agency to, do your marketing plan and do all this hard thinking for you. And then you have some approvals, yes, but no, I'm kidding. Sometimes it's going to be like that.
Totally.
The agency does a ton of work though. But did you feel qualified to jump over to the client side? Was it like a rude awakening or was it a pretty easy transition?
There were parts of it that were easy, and then there were parts that were a big learning curve. Like the PR side, I had never touched PR.
Yeah.
I did an internship in college at a PR agency.
Yeah.
But but I had an amazing mentor and teacher, our CEO. So he and I both knew that there were the things that I didn't know that he knew. And as he was focusing on transitioning from sales and marketing to being a CEO,
Right.
we still had that kind of a bit of overlap where I had somebody amazing to learn from.
Yeah. I can imagine though that conversation. It's like, all right, who in here knows marketing? And you're like,
Kind of, sort of, hi.
right? And he's like, I've got to learn how to get along with people, or at least get my message across. But I need someone to run the show. Tall order. This show is called Behind the Brand. We talk about brands a lot. You talk about just swapping the Golds for EOS logo. I have this little competition going on in my head and overtly too. It's like, do you have a logo or do you actually have a brand? So let's break that down. Like, what is the definition of brand in your opinion? And then tell me what you think the EOS brand is.
Okay.
Yeah. So what is a brand?
A brand to me is a connection. It's a connection with the consumer. It's a connection with the public. A brand has a soul. A logo is just a logo. It's a mark. But that's what a brand does. It's something that people want to be a part of and engage with, and that they have this like common ground almost, and foundational sameness.
Yeah, that tracks. I've asked probably 500 people, some of the smartest people on the planet, I think, and that tracks. It aligns with what they've said. I mean, some of the other things that I've heard, a brand is definitely not your logo. Your logo is the mark that stands for something, but your brand is, it's a shorthand for what you stand for. A brand is something that you start out to build, but ends up living in the hearts and minds of the people who come in contact with it. And so if you have, how many members do you have in each club roughly on average? Is it 1,000? Is it 10,000? Like, how many members do you have per club, you think?
I'd say we average at about 10,000.
Okay. So you literally could have 10,000 opinions of what the EOS brand is on any given day based on their experience.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, you're walking the talk, that, you're all of these things that you're doing very intentionally, like the clean equipment, the high-tech stuff out there, the recovery zones, you can see it's all very deliberate. Hopefully the people are like interpreting that the way that you're intending it. And then you have the synergy of, you guys are in sync. I also think, brands are distinct. And I've had this discussion many times. In fact, when I had the person who's running the Marriott Bonvoy brand on, I had to very boldly say, I don't think you have a brand. I think you have a logo. And now the Marriott brand does have a great brand, but like, as an example, I don't think it's very distinct. I think that they're in a bit of a race to the bottom because they're not distinct enough. I think if you walk into any hotel like that, whether it's a Hilton, Hyatt, or Marriott, and you look down at the carpet, you don't look at the marquee, you don't really know who you are. It sort of all looks the same. Versus if you come into an EOS, I think it's a little bit more distinct, right? Whether that's color palette or vibe or music, or you've got some distinctness there. But I think that's the challenge, is being different in a market where a lot of people are trying to be better. Being different is the way to break through, I think.
I completely agree. Mine has always been, if I'm looking at something, a piece of advertisement, and if I cover up the logo, can it be anybody?
Right.
And that was one of the things with EOS, that I wanted to make sure that we didn't settle into that like sea of sameness.
Right. Yeah.
Where so many people kind of end up.
Yeah. There's a lot of choices. So how are you separating from the herd? There's the, all the usual suspects. There's the company that has everything orange. There's the company that has everything kind of purple. There's the company that's, giant, and they're all about the life. And then there's a 24 of people. How do you see it? How do you separate yourself, and how are you being more distinct?
There's, I think, so many layers to that. It's starting with just, we stay very true to our foundational pillars. It's around our members, our team members, our community.
Yeah.
We keep that at the heart of everything that we do. So there's that piece of it.
Okay.
The executive team at EOS, we've all kind of been here since the beginning, which I think is rare for a company to have. I mean, we're almost 10 years in.
Yeah.
And there's such little turnover.
Yeah.
So we all kind of grew up together, and there's so much just shared respect for each other. But also within that, right? I mean, we can be brutally honest with each other. We're not hurting each other's feelings. It is on some level family. Like, we all know each other's spouses. And I think to have that type of camaraderie and connection is so unique. It allows us to make decisions quickly, to pivot quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, you're running it kind of like a family. It's close-knit. And will it stay that way? Will it stay close and small? I mean, in spite of all this growth, you guys are at over 100 in terms of you're in triple digits now.
109 tomorrow.
Right.
We're opening 2 gyms today and 1 tomorrow.
So is your strategy to keep the team small and grow the gyms big? Is that
Absolutely.
Yeah. Can you do it that way? Can it scale that with a small team?
I think so. I mean, we've grown the team. So but the original people that kind of helped start, so to say, we're all still here.
Yeah.
And yes, we've absolutely grown the team, and we keep adding, and the family's gotten bigger. And I mean, even the people that joined the EOS family 5 years ago, 2 years ago, it's still just, the table keeps getting bigger.
Yeah. Well, you have a lot of people, in the trenches, right? You have frontline people, you have people at the front desk, membership people, you have trainers, that whole line of, like, I would say the front line.
Yeah.
And then you have the home office folks. Let's stay on brand for a little bit. So, how do you view the competition? Do you watch what other gyms are doing
Absolutely.
and try to pivot away, or like try and do it better? Like talk about that a little bit.
I don't try to compare ourselves.
Yeah.
I like to see what other people are doing. And of course, right? I mean, things that I see, brands that I admire, even or ones that I don't, it's seeing what they're doing well. And maybe, deciding, is there something, a component of that I really like that I want to incorporate?
Yeah, of course.
We don't need to constantly reinvent the wheel, but I do want to make it ours. And
Right.
That's the important part, is taking anything that we see, making sure that it fits into the EOS ethos.
And so give me an example of a couple of those things that's happened. And by the way, there's this guy named Mark Zuckerberg, and that's all he does, by the way. He just looks at whatever else is working on anyone else's app, and all of a sudden it's a new feature on Instagram. So it's working for Mark. It's part of his strategy to, like, just be aware of what's happening. Some people will say, no, I don't even listen to the competition, and I don't pay attention to them. But, like, I kind of think that's foolish too, especially if there's good ideas out there. And more importantly, if people are clamoring for it or asking for that, or that's like a key feature benefit, why not do it?
Absolutely. I think it's with competition, it's with everything. Why would we not want to seek out others,
Right.
whether it's competitors or experts in this field, experts in different things? We should listen to as many people as possible, and not to say that to do it all, but more information.
Yeah. Can't have your head in the sand. Yeah. So what are some of the things you've done?
A lot of, website stuff. We earlier this year, launched a brand new website. It was about 1.5 years, 2 years in the making. And yes, we crawled to every competitor website. We also looked at, obviously websites outside of this industry, membership-based, multi-location, brick and mortar. And that was one of the things. It was pick and choosing different components of different websites that we liked. And then it's A/B testing things where maybe half of us liked something over here, the other half over here. And it's just like, then let's try it. Let's test.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Let's stay on the website for a second. So what's it for? Because I don't visit a gym's website. I don't. I don't think I've ever been to the EOS website. I've been to the EOS app, which is very handy for check-in. It's utility. It's my ID badge. I just swipe my phone, boop, and it's done.
Yep.
But I don't think I've ever been to the website. Sorry.
You shouldn't be. As an EOS member, we don't want you to go to the website.
Yeah.
We want you to download the mobile app,
Yeah.
because that is the content that the mobile app has, the content that we want our members to have. It's letting you know what's around the gym, the different amenities. Our Movio Cinema schedule that's on the app, Kids Club reservations, things like that, the barcode.
Yeah.
Our website are for prospects.
Yeah, it's a funnel. And I should say, too, let me give you context. So before we even met, before this place even existed, I live in South Orange County, and I used to shop at this store called Kohl's. I don't know if you've heard of it. It was like they've got luggage, and they've got perfume, and they have chocolates or whatever. You can get anything at Kohl's. Well, Kohl's shut down. I was like, I wonder what's going to go in there next. They put in this gym called EOS, and I was very curious. I had never heard of it, and all I knew was that the gym next door that was extremely filthy, and floor mats full of sweat. I was tired of going there, and I was excited to hear about a new gym, and so I signed up sort of sight unseen, and that's where I've been ever since. And so it's kind of been several years in the making. Has it been 2 years or 3 years since that place opened? I feel like 3.
I feel like 3 also.
So it was 3 years ago when that happened, and now we're talking. So come full circle. All right, continue on the website. So it's a funnel to catch people.
It is. It's to educate people.
Yeah. Yep. And so what other forms of marketing are you doing? Are you doing paid advertising? Are you doing social? Like, give us the marketing mix.
It's all of it. We do a bit of everything. One of the things that I love is about EOS is we make sure that we invest in our marketing. There's other companies out there, and if a company's not doing well, what's the first thing to go? Marketing budget. For us, it's not. If the company's not doing well, we'll spend more in marketing. That's going to be the last thing that we ever cut.
Yeah.
So ours is different people have different motivators, and different people consume information in different ways. It's never going to be a one size shoe fits all.
Yeah.
So our approach has always been, let's hit people in the ways that they consume information.
Right.
So if there's somebody who loves, just reading articles, then that's where they're going to see us. If there's somebody who is more so driving around, they'll see us on billboards.
Okay, so it's 360. You're doing
it is
holistic.
It's every which way you turn.
Full coverage.
Yes.
Yeah.
We want people to see there's EOS.
No stone unturned.
Exactly.
That costs a lot, though. Like, can you give us an idea of what you're spending? Like in the figures range, is it like 6, 7, 8, 10? I mean, or give me a percentage. Like, of your gross revenue, we're spending 20% in marketing, or give us a breakdown.
Oh, 20% would be amazing, Brian.
Right?
Whoa, I would love that. Unfortunately, we don't divulge the financial information.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that, yes, the marketing budget is very healthy.
Yeah.
And it makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah. So talk to the audience and give them advice, because they're running their own businesses and they're wondering, should I cut marketing when times get tough, or where should I spend it? Like, what's your advice to them?
My advice is don't cut marketing. If times are getting tough, that's the time to spend. But also, you have to make sure that your money's working for you. If you're having operational issues, sales issues, then your marketing dollars are getting wasted. So make sure you look behind the hood, under the hood, and that everything's working the way that it needs to be there. So then that way your marketing dollars are working for you.
Yeah. And where are you seeing some of the most success? I mean, I would assume that you're measuring the return on investment on a billboard. It is what it is. X number of people drive by there, and so you get your reach and your frequency. You check the box. But is that easy to measure or no? I mean, you don't have like a 800 number that ties back to the billboard, or you don't have
Exactly.
a QR code that you can scan from your car.
The brand awareness is harder to measure, which is more of what billboards are versus more of like direct response.
Yeah.
And then, all things digital, obviously you can measure a bit more. For us, though, print still does really well.
Okay. And so where are you printing?
Where are we printing?
I mean, where can we see the print? Are you like advertising in magazines? Do you have
We do a lot of mail.
Direct mail.
So we do a lot of direct mail still. And then that's a piece of it.
Like a flyer. I get
Exactly.
in my mailbox. Gotcha. Okay. Interesting.
It is. I know. It's always surprising that, for this industry, it still does very well.
Still works. Okay. Door knockers, that kind of stuff. People, the hangers you put on the doors.
We do some of those.
Yeah. It's now bringing back all this flood of memory of all the stuff I used to do back in the day. But yeah, you're right.
Some of it's still tried and true.
If it works, don't knock it.
But
right?
again, I don't believe that it's a singular thing. I truly do believe that it's that multi-touch approach. And again, different people consume information in different ways.
Yeah. Okay. So again, back to this, macro to micro strategy. Like, so if you're a small business and you don't have all the budget that EOS now has after growing from 16 gyms to 100 plus, How, what places are you seeing like the most bang for the buck or the most value? Where do you think you're seeing your particular audience? I also like to hear like who is the audience, but like give some advice about maybe where to parse that budget if you don't have everything. Can't do the billboard, can't do print, can't do radio, can't do, I mean, maybe some paid, but like,
I think it's understanding who your consumer is and how they consume information and reaching them that way. It's not thinking about the way that you as the business owner consume information.
right.
It's turning it around. How are other people consuming? And I think that that's a mistake sometimes that people make. They think about themselves, and it's not about us. It's
Right.
about other people.
Yeah, good point. So who is the EOS? Who's the ideal client? And everyone is a terrible answer, we know.
But it kind of is.
No, I'm going to pin you down. I'm going to make you like, give us a muse, like who's the persona, or maybe there's several personas. Who are you aiming at? Like who is the ideal? And give me like first, second, third priority.
Okay, so I'm going to kind of start back in the beginning a little bit.
Yeah.
So we talked about how there's Gold's Gym roots.
Yep.
One of the things that we wanted to make sure was that we didn't alienate that level of serious fitness.
Yes, a good point. That's a great anchor to drop. And the Gold's Gym, if you don't know, like these are like the hardcore bodybuilder type, gym bro and gym girl. Like they're like serious.
Yeah.
That said, there's also a fair amount that go there to take selfies and do that too, which is also serious, you could argue, if that's their business, right?
Absolutely.
They make money with their image or their influence, and that's a cool place to do it.
Okay, so we know that Serious Fitness Foundation, we don't want to alienate. We want to stay true to that.
Right.
But we also know that's not who we want EOS to be.
Right. This is not Gold's Gym. Right.
Exactly. And so we want to be inclusive, accessible. We know that we're $9.99 a month. Very full service for amenities.
Wait, you're $9.99
As
a month?
low as.
Okay.
Yes.
Amazing. That's pretty great.
It is. And
Yeah.
for everything that you get, we also,
I'm going to put a pin in that price strategy. I want to come back to that.
Okay.
But yeah. Okay.
we don't want it to feel like a $9.99 experience.
Yeah.
We have been very intentional on investing into the gyms, into providing our members with the best workout experience, regardless of the price point.
Yeah.
Right, so it doesn't feel like, that you pick up a dumbbell that's like about to fall apart, or you're sitting on a bench and everything's just broken.
Yeah. And at the same time, this is not some bougie place where, you expect to get an IV drip and see your latest actor or whatever walk in too. It's not that either.
No.
Yeah.
So it's okay. We have our serious athletes, fitness, but we've also got, people who are so new to fitness, and to also create that welcoming, inviting environment, that inclusive. A gym can be scary.
Yeah, I guess. Yep.
It can to somebody who's never worked out or somebody new.
Yeah.
And when you're
it's very
walking,
intimidating. Yeah, sure.
exactly.
course.
There's the whole gym intimidation.
Yeah.
And so it's creating that welcoming environment and wanting to make sure that we have that. So we've got serious fitness. We've got maybe the newbie, something kind of everything in between. We do a lot with silver sneakers types of stuff and insurance based. So now we have more of a senior demographic coming in.
Interesting.
That's
Okay.
another thing with our water fitness classes. It's low impact.
Okay.
So it kind of maybe sort of is everybody who has an interest, everybody who wants to achieve, to accomplish.
Yeah.
So, okay, so let's take a step back. Everyone with a desire, with a determination, with drive, that's where I feel like everyone comes together here.
Yeah. Yeah. And so this is maybe a good opportunity to talk about this thing that I'm identifying, that not just me, but a lot of other people in this idea of this third place. it used to be the coffee shop that we'd all go hang out in. As a, business owner, freelancer, in the gig economy, we'd all hang out at a coffee shop and, write the next project or write the script or make plans or, do whatever. And after the pandemic or during the pandemic, they took the chairs out, they kicked us out. They said, there's no more power or internet.
Yeah.
And we were displaced. And I've seen that my local gym or my local run club has become this third place. It's sort of taken the place of the coffee shop. And I think you guys are in a really good spot to capitalize on that. Have you seen that kind of thing happen where it's sort of been like this watering hole, this gathering place?
Absolutely. And not just coffee shops, like bars also.
Yeah.
5, 6, 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
The gym's packed.
Yeah. And we were talking off camera, Athletic Brewing Company, one of your partners, also, friend of a friend, this whole non-alcoholic or wellness movement, powered by lots of different people, from Dr. Peter Attia to Dr. Andrew Huberman to Dr. Mark Hyman to, the list goes on of all these, Dr. Kelly Starlett, all these people who are really helping push the non-traditional wellness movement forward, I think is really also helping you. And there's this big wave that you guys could ride.
It is. There's so many brands that are coming out, right? Like the wine alternatives and the mood elevators.
Yeah.
And it's more of just like the health movement that's kind of happening right now.
Yeah.
I attribute a lot of it, to post-pandemic. Here we went through, as an entire world, something, none of us ever dreamed that, right? And we've got loved ones that are dying. And so I think there's this shift in how we view ourselves, our bodies, what we're putting in our bodies, what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the third space really emerged.
Yeah. It was a total wake-up call. I remember immediately when I found out that, everything was closed and shut down and couldn't, function, not even go outside and do the normal things, I immediately ordered a whole set of dumbbells.
Yeah.
And that was fine. I still have them. I use them from time to time, but I do miss the camaraderie. I miss the vibe, just the electricity that you feel walking in with other people doing the same thing. It's kind of like, I feel like I'm among, people like us do this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so it is, while I can work out solo at home and pump the iron, get swole, yes, it can happen, but it's not as fun, enjoyable, or sustainable as when you come to a third place like this and hang out with other like-minded people, especially if I need some sort of help or
Totally.
right? And that happens all the time where I'll just tap the person next to me and I'll say, hey, I need a spot, help me out for my last set or whatever. And that's nice.
It is.
Yeah.
There's so many different layers of that. From going to the gym with a friend and the accountability. If you're home and you decide, no, I'm going to open that beer instead, or let me do whatever instead. And so if you are going to the gym with friends, to your point, if you need help, there's the energy of seeing other people around you.
Yeah. And the accountability.
Absolutely.
Bro, where are you at, man? We're all here. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I love coming into one of our gyms, standing in the middle of it, closing my eyes, and hearing it and feeling it. That to me, and it's just, you don't get that anywhere else.
Yeah. And we were walking around outside and you kind of told me how the community aspects sort of subtly tied in. You have, here at San Clemente, so you have like the San Clemente, like T Street and all where the train goes by. I think that's great. Tie it all into the community.
That's one of our pillars is community. It's something that we're so invested in is our communities. We support all kinds of local nonprofits, charitable causes on a local level and a national level. One thing that's also so important to us is supporting local high school athletics and giving back there. Same thing with local colleges, universities.
Yeah.
So that community aspect of bringing fitness in at a younger age, kind of developing those habits and supporting our communities. Like, otherwise, what are we doing this for?
Yeah. No, I have one of those. I have a 16-year-old son. We come in, and he's a track and field athlete, and we come in here to train, get his fitness on, and it's a great father-son activity too. It's a ton of fun. So let's go back to the price strategy, because I'm curious about this. I had no idea it was as low as $9.99. I think I signed on as a legacy. I think I'm paying like 15 something a month. I think I got that early bird deal.
And then at the higher membership tier, you probably have the higher one. The lowest one at the majority of the gyms is $9.99.
Yeah. And so how did you figure out that price structure, that strategy? The tiered pricing, I guess, is like for more and more amenities. Maybe it's classes and all that. Break that down.
So yeah,
Not like what it is, but like how you came up with the price strategy. Because I think price strategy is fascinating, right? Like, where do you even start? Do you start high, low, in the middle?
let's think it through. $9.99. I mean, it's that single digit, right? So you've got that 9.
You're competing with the old dirty gyms.
There's something different about being $10 versus $9.99 and just consumer perception.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, of course, it's just financial modeling at that point on how can we make this as affordable as possible so people, so we take that barrier away. Because, right, there's already so many barriers. Life has so many barriers and so many obstacles. So what can we do to just chip away? And so it's cool. Let's take the price and take that out of the equation.
Right. And the highest one, where are you at? What's the highest peak?
At the majority, $29.99.
Okay. So still super reasonable.
Absolutely.
Again, it's not, you're not paying for a bougie experience to.
And that one, you can bring somebody with you every single time you come to the gym. So it's kind of 2 for the price of 1.
Yeah. Yeah. And so this gym model's always fascinated me because it's in our best interest to come to the gym every single day, if we could.
I think so.
Yeah. And I'm at the gym 4 or 5, sometimes 6 days a week when I'm at my best. What is your best advice on how to be consistent and how to scale? Like, have you done market research on like how to help members get the most out of their experience, or how do people discover some of these new things that you're offering?
A lot. I mean, communication. We are constantly communicating to our members on different offerings, different things that we have.
Yeah.
But let's go back to, I think your first part of the question was how to get people into the gym.
Yeah.
It's just consistency. It's like anything else. It's a meeting. What do? You put it on your calendar. It's a habit, a routine. There's so much research done on psychology, human behavior, and we are creatures of habit. Not to say that we should live in habit, right? But there's something about that routine of let me wake up, let me have my cup of coffee. Do I work out in the morning? Do I work out later in the day? But find the consistency in your day and then kind of build around it.
Yeah. So let's go back to what the EOS brand stands for. We defined brand a little bit. So let's just underscore that. So different than an Equinox, different than a 24-hour. What does the EOS brand stand for?
The EOS brand stands for innovation, inclusivity, accessibility. It's taking that low price point, having a huge variety of amenities, of constant innovation. We're always looking at different types of equipment, different amenities. What are things that we can do to continue to help? What are different, cold plunge, we were talking about that earlier. Mm-hmm. We're starting to bring cold plunges in because we know what the recovery benefits are. So it's everything that we can do to help our members, help our communities.
Yep.
That's what the brand stands for. It's breaking down the barriers, the obstacles, mental, physical, to get inside of the gym.
What does EOS mean?
EOS is the Greek goddess of dawn.
Okay.
So funny. Okay, so let's go back to brand and brand beginning. So we have this name, EOS. It's like, okay, now what? What do we do with this? We tried to play with it. We tried to lean into it, okay, goddess of dawn. But going back to that Serious Fitness Foundation,
Right.
what does Goddess of Dawn do to that? So then it was just like, okay, no, this is not working. And then it was, all right, let's build. Here we have these gyms at $10 a month, $9.99. What is natural perception of a low-cost gym? That it's a piece of crap. That,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Or that the masses go to, and you're going to have people doing all kinds of wonky exercise.
yeah.
You know.
And so for me, from the marketing side, knowing that the vision for the company is to build affordable gyms that are high end, that have that high end feel and amenities and equipment, how do I stand apart from everything else? And then also, it was interesting for us. Here we are knowing that it was a growth plan. Our development team and the real estate team, they're out there going into new shopping centers, they're talking to landlords, property owners, and a lot of them were just like, I don't want a $9.99 gym like in my shopping center. That's low rent. It's gonna drive the quality down.
Right.
And it's just like, okay, so that's the perception. Let's break the perception. Let's break that mold. And that's kind of how we started the brand, how we came up with our first branding campaign. It was taking a very high-end look and feel. Also, one of the things that has just always been so important, people, our people. Every single piece of EOS advertising, the people in it are either EOS team members or members.
Yeah. So let's go back to the name for a second.
Okay.
So it sounds like you had the best intentions at first with the name, and it just didn't work out.
No,
Yeah.
not
But-
not Goddess of Dawn.
But you're kind of stuck with it, and so you made the best of it.
Yes.
Again, we're talking off camera about my friend Will Ahmed, who started this company called Whoop, which is a $4 billion company in the wearables market, the market leader. I hate the name. It's terrible, but it's successful in spite of it. Interesting.
It's lean in. What can we do with it? So we
Yeah.
actually kind of turned it around in a few different ways. We decided we are the dawn of new fitness, the new dawn in fitness.
Okay.
And
Spin, good spin.
right.
You're selling, I'm buying it.
So yes, our name is EOS. We were just like, all right, let's also come up with maybe an acronym for this. So E, energy, O, optimum value, S, serious fitness.
Okay.
So we kind of played with that, and that still exists and that still lives. On our first brand campaigns, I took our name and we made it into pieces of equipment.
Okay, well, say more about that.
So it's the O. It is it's a kettlebell, and somebody's got the kettlebell, and that's
Okay, so it's like private label or custom branding.
Yes.
Through the gear. the
exactly.
equipment.
But again, that was the photoshopping piece. Was photoshopping in the name, the logo
I see.
into it.
The integration of it.
Yes. So the photo shoot, there was somebody actually holding a kettlebell,
Okay.
and then afterwards we would go back in and shove our O into it.
Sure. Fun. That's gonna be a good soundbite. Shove our own. I like that. Yeah. I mean, that is kind of a hurdle, right? Started with this name that's not quite working out. Now what do we do? We've already trademarked it. We're moving forward. It's on all the banner and logos.
Make it intentional.
Let's lean into it. Yeah. That's a challenge. Yeah. Good on you.
So
Because I had no idea, right? It's just rolling forward and
there's so much that goes into it. Without challenge, without failure, how does one know success? And I think that's what makes the success more impactful. It is knowing everything it took to get there.
yeah.
And I also think without trying different things, how are you going to evolve?
Yeah. Well, sometimes, you just have to play the hand that you're dealt also, right? And so, take me, I've been this member now for 3 years, and I still can't get the name right. I'm saying EOS or EOS, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because it is about my experience, right? And so that's another example of how the brand lives in the hearts and minds of the people who experience it. At the end of the day, you don't care if they get the name right or wrong. I mean, it'd be nice.
A little bit.
It'd be nice because you got into all this trouble. But ultimately, I come because I know where this is at, and these are my people, and this facilitates the great experience, right? And so all of that sort of then transcends the importance of, remembering the exact pronunciation. If I have an image of there's an E and there's an O and there's an S and it's blue, that's the logo mark that's sort of ingrained in my brain. How can I identify the mark? Interesting though.
Absolutely. And then it's also, right, the more important thing, the feeling. Are you feeling the way that we intended? Are you feeling welcomed? Are you feeling motivated, inspired when you're at the gym? Are you accomplishing what you've set out to accomplish?
Right.
That's the connection.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's complicated because fitness is so personal.
Yes.
At the same time, you do better. You thrive when you're in a community, at least more than one. You have someone to be accountable to, and you have a partner to lift you up or, spot you or give you a high five or whatever. It's better, I found.
Yeah.
It can be lonely sometimes, but you can also find friends at the gym. So
You totally
again,
can.
the third place.
Yes.
Come and hang out. I see people do it every single day. They're just hanging out and like-minded people.
There's something about walking in, right? And the person at the front desk smiling, saying hi.
Yeah.
Knowing your name, asking you how your workout was. When you're working out, and whether it's somebody who works at the gym or another member seeing you and correcting your form.
Yeah.
Try this instead. There's something so just, I don't know, magical-ish about that, and that feeling that you can't get anywhere else.
Yeah. I had that form thing happen the other day. This guy who had just enormous thighs. He was like, you could tell he's a leg day guy. And I was doing this like pistol squats, and he's like, hey, I noticed that when I put like a 25-pound weight on the ground and I elevate my ankles a little bit, it's a lot less stress on my knees and on my quads. He goes, you might want to try that. I go, oh, pro tip, thank you. And so I've been doing it ever since that way. But that happens all the time. Like you get little boosts. Give people advice who are in startup mode. What should they be focused on first? Is it team? Is it features and benefits? Is it the right location?
It's a bit of all of it. It's invest in your people, motivate your people, build your people, create a culture of belonging where that's where people want to be, where they want to work. So it's not just the consumer. It's not who's going to use your product. Your biggest brand advocates should be the people that work for you.
Are you hiring people who have fitness backgrounds, or are you looking for like people?
Depends on the position. Obviously personal trainer, right? You need a fitness background. Other positions now, it's people who want to be here, people who have passion.
Passion for wellness or passion for what?
Passion for wellness, passion for betterment, and then position specific. So if you're working the front desk, a passion for people, for greeting people, for being friendly. If you're working in the accounting department, a passion for numbers. For me with marketing, I really prefer people who do have a passion for fitness and marketing. How can you create marketing? How can you understand it if you're not doing it? It's a feeling.
Yeah.
How can you market that feeling if you haven't experienced it?
Yeah. So you're trying to attract that people to that category. Shifting gears a little bit to sort of what's happening in-house. How are you looking at supplements? That's an industry that's just exploding. We did a story last year on this company called Momentous, and they did protein powder and they did all this kind of stuff. Do you have private label going on? How are you looking at supplements?
So when we first started down the path of supplements, it was, yes, who do we want to partner with? Who do we want to bring into the gyms? So our team became the guinea pigs.
Okay.
And we tried all kinds of different supplement brands. It was also finding the right supplement partner that followed our brand of high quality and affordable.
Sure.
Right? So we're out there, and all the high quality ones, they're not affordable. all the affordable ones aren't high quality.
Right.
So then it was, okay, we're not finding what we like.
Yeah, you need to make your own.
We partnered with a company.
Okay.
And it was, they can make it.
Private label.
Yeah. But for them, so it's not our private label.
Right, okay.
And then we started working on they started working on the formula, but they used, again, our team as the guinea pigs. They tested it, and that's how they perfected a formula.
You had the criteria, you gave them your specs.
It was that, but it was more so they were coming up with it, and our team was trying all the different supplements and saying, this is how it makes me feel, these are the results that I'm seeing. And we were testing supplements on our team, knowing that we wanted to have that premium supplement that we were bringing into our gyms.
Yeah.
So it was created with EOS in mind.
Yeah. Is it like a big upsell opportunity? How do you look at it in the marketing mix? Like, it's a value add, it's an upsell, how are you utilizing it? So I'm just thinking, if we take the model of having something, you've built the infrastructure, you've got the people, you've got, at least 3 legs of the stool, if not all 4. You're now introducing new things. How do you look at it?
It's results. It's helping people accomplish their goals.
Okay.
So it is person specific on what are your goals. If somebody wants to bulk up, right? Let's go protein heavy. Different people have different goals.
Yeah.
And that's where the supplements come into play. We've got a really cool system. It's our eVolt. So it's a 360 body scan. We also put in what people's goals are. And then it has supplement recommendations based on that.
Is it like a DEXA scan where it scans like body mass, weight?
Yes.
Okay. I did a DEXA scan this last year. Yeah, I got some more work to do.
Don't we all? But that's what fitness is. So everyone's journey is their own. And that's what makes it fun, unique. And that's, to me, also on the brand side, where we get to have a lot of fun, is knowing that everyone's journey is unique. We were talking about it earlier, the new brand campaign, what I'm calling the brand revolution.
Yeah.
That we're kicking off January 1st.
Yeah, talk about that spot.
That's what it's about. We created a character called Willpower. So Willpower is this clay-made EOS blue.
Yeah.
And we know that there's so many obstacles in our day. There's so many things that we can say, you know what, screw this, I'm going to go have a beer instead, or I'm not going to the gym, I'm going to go sit on the couch.
Yeah.
And
Then it's competing for our time and attention.
yeah, I mean, all the time. Lock my keys in the car, got a screaming toddler, and now I'm exhausted. It's that perseverance to say, I'm still going to do this for myself.
Yeah.
Based on whatever my goals are and my determination. And that's what the Willpower campaign is.
Yeah.
It's about overcoming obstacles in the day. And then it's even a step further where when you're in the gym, not every workout is your best one. And there's those days where, I wasn't at my best, or maybe I was in a yoga class and I toppled over and I'm just like, okay, that sucks. And I feel like an idiot. That's okay. You showed up, you tried,
That's right.
You're here.
Yes.
That's what matters.
Yeah, I agree. I can co-sign that. I call it stacking. Like, if I go into the gym, even for 20 minutes, I get a couple of reps in, I'm just stacking day over day over day. And over time, you see the progress. Maybe not right away if you're doing less, but yeah. So let's go back to the creative. Were there other thoughts on like what the main tent pole should be? I mean, you landed on Willpower, but were there other like motivators that you're considering that didn't make the cut? Like, how did you arrive at that creative? Was it so obvious?
So we actually started with an entire research campaign of who are our members and what drives them. And so it took a couple of months, a lot of surveys, a lot of focus groups.
Yeah.
And what resulted was that EOS members are achievers.
Okay.
So that was the aha word, achievers. Mm-hmm. They're setting out to achieve, to do. And let's go back to even third space for a moment, that everyone inside of EOS, what their goal to achieve is different, but that's the commonality, that's the foundation, the common denominator.
Yeah.
And so knowing that was the overarching theme, it was, okay, if people want to achieve, we've got the place to do that.
Right.
And the achievement also comes from that overcoming our daily obstacles and hurdles and all of that in our day to have the aha moment here for us and to say, I did this for myself and I'm going to take a moment to focus on myself.
Yeah. Yeah. And then what's required? Well, it's willpower. So that makes sense.
Yeah, the drive, the determination, the willpower to get here. So where there's a will, there's an EOS.
I mean, we were just sitting back, chopping it up, reminiscing about the good old days and all that. Tracking my roots, where I came from and where I'm going. But like I say, man, always said it. It's not about the destination. No. It's all about the journey.